Wow, I actually did it. I'm in math. This is awesome. It's okay, nothing can hurt me here. Wait a second.
Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Lost in Math. I'm Mr. Wheeler. Today we're learning how to solve quadratic equations by using the quadratic formula. So we did it. We learned we're going to learn 5 ways to solve a quadratic equation. We learned how to solve them by graphing, factoring, square roots, completing the square, and today we're learning how to solve by the quadratic formula. Quadratic formula is nice because it always works. Some of the other ones, special things have to happen in order for them to work, but quadratic formula works no matter what. There's only 2 things you need to know. 1, in order to use the quadratic formula, before we get started, it has to be written in standard form. ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So before we start, we have to make sure it's written in standard form of a quadratic equation. And after that, we just have to remember the formula. So, cue quadratic formula song.
X equals the opposite of b, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all over 2a.
One more time.
X equals the opposite of b, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all over 2a.
Fire. Anyways. So the quadratic formula, x equals the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So when it's written in standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c, to solve these problems, you identify what a, b, and c are, and then you just plug them into the formula and do a lot of math, but it's pretty straightforward. And then you'll get 2 answers, 1 answer, or no answers, depending on how the problem works. And that's it. So let's go to the math lab and do some practice problems. That's right. I have a math lab now. Alright. So problem number 1, 2x squared plus 3x minus 5 equals 0. Quadratic formula, be sure it's written in standard form. It is. It equals 0. So now we find out what a, b, and c are. A is 2, the number multiplying x squared. 3, negative 5 is c. Next, we use the quadratic formula. Just gotta remember it. X equals the opposite of b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. We found what a, b, and c are, so now we're just plugging stuff in. So we get opposite of 3 plus or minus 3 squared minus 4 times 2 times negative 5 all over 2 times 2. Plugging stuff in. Now it's time for math. Opposite of 3, negative 3 plus or minus square root of 9 minus 4 times 2 is 8 times negative 5 all over 4. So here I like to think of it as a negative 8 times a negative 5. So that's positive 40. We could have also thought of it as 8 times negative 5 is negative 40. So we get minus negative 40. But when you score that, you still get out plus 40. So all roads lead to the same place. 9 plus 40, 49. Square root of 49 is 7. Alright, so we got x equals negative 3 plus or minus 7 over 4. So this is 2 problems, either negative 3 plus 7 over 4 or negative 3 minus 7 over 4. Negative 3 plus 7 was 4, so over there on the left I get 4 over 4. Over there, -3 minus 7, go, -3 plus -7, -10. So we get -10 over 4. Simplify, so x is 1, or -5/2. You can leave it as an improper fraction if you like. So that's my answer. X is 1, or -5/2. That's how you do it. So if you want to pause right here and try the other two problems, you just find A, B, and C after it's written in standard form and solve. Hi. Alright. Here we go. I got all blued out. This is Mega Man. Alright, so this is not in standard form. It's got equal 0. We got two ways to do it. I'm going to move that 2x over. Minus 2x. That's 0. Do it one side, do it to the other. So we get 0 equals x squared minus 2x minus 3. Turn it around. X squared minus 2x minus 3 equals 0. Same thing. If I'd moved the x squared and the -3 over, that would have been fine. Minus x squared plus 3, and I would have ended up with -x squared plus 2x plus 3 equals 0. Either way is totally fine. You get the same answer either way. I'm going to stick with the one on top. Although the one on bottom has only one negative. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. I'm doing the one on top. X squared minus 2x minus 3 equals 0. A is 1. B is -2, C is -3. Plug it into my formula. Opposite of -2, plus or minus square root -2 squared. 1, -3, 2 times 1. Math time. Opposite of -2 is +2. Plus or minus square root 4 minus 4 times 1 is 4 times -3. 2 times 1 is 2. -4 times -3, +12. 4 plus 12 is 16. 4, square root of 16 is 4, so x equals 2 plus or minus 4 over 2. So 2 plus 4 over 2, or 2 minus 4 over 2. 2 plus 4 is 6. So we get 6 over 2, or 2 minus 4 is -2, -2 over 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And -2 divided by 2 is -1. So my answers are +3, -1. One more. A -3, B 5, C 2. Nice, standard form already. Plug stuff in. Opposite of 5. 5 squared. 4 times -3 times 2. 2 times -3. Math time. Opposite of 5 is -5. Plus or minus the square root. 5 squared is 25. -4 times -3. I made that a plus 12 times 2 over -6. So we got 12 times 2 is 24. 25 and 24 is 49. And square root of 49 is 7. So we get -5 plus or minus 7 over -6. Two problems to solve. -5 plus 7 or -5 minus 7 over -6. -5 plus 7 is 2. So we get 2 over -6. Or -12 over -6. -5 minus 7 is -12. Simplify, it's -1/3 or +2. So those are my answers. That's how you do the quadratic formula. Just find A, B, and C, plug them in. How to do it's actually pretty simple. It's just a lot of math, so be careful with your steps. And let's go back to our regularly scheduled programming. All right. Welcome back. All those problems were nice. We got answers, we got numbers with square roots. That won't always be the case. For instance, if I was doing my quadratic formula and I got to a point like this, -2 plus or minus a square root of 13 over 2, when we broke that into two equations, we might be kind of stopped because I can't take the square root of 13. We still have answers though, it's just that our answers are horrible decimals. So to write our answer, we could just say x equals -2 plus the square root of 13 over 2, or x equals -2 minus the square root of 13 over 2. So those are actually kind of nice because it's less work to do. That would be an acceptable answer for those. We could have also got a problem like this. -2 plus or minus a square root of -4 over 2. If we get a problem like that with a negative number under the square root sign, we can just stop right there and say no real solutions. We can't take the square root of negative real numbers. So those would be problems with no real solutions. So that stuff under the radical, the b squared minus 4ac, it's actually very important in how many answers we get. It's actually called the discriminant. It has a special name and properties and everything. But we'll get into that next video. So today, just quadratic formula. Make sure it's written in standard form. Remember the quadratic formula. Sing songs if you have to. And then just plug away. So like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe so you're not missing a thing. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Ow.